Prepare for rolling blackouts, my friends. So Sniffy Joe is beginning a $6 billion bailout of the nuclear plant industry. $6 billion bailout. Now remember, nuclear is bad, even though it's carbon free, but still bad because of the China syndrome. So let's just, but rolling blackouts, Josh. What do we do? I got solar. I'm a solar and I'm grid tied. Grid tied means you have no battery banks, that you're part of the grid. And if the electricity goes down, your solar won't work simply because you're sending it back to the grid. You're grid tied. If you do not have a battery bank, you will not get electricity off your solar panels. It's just not going to happen. Hopefully you have a transfer switch and hopefully you got batteries. I bet many of you don't though. And as such, your solar photovoltaic array won't do anything when the grid goes down. Well, if you have a battery bank, hopefully you have a significant battery setup. I bet many of you don't because it's expensive. It's expensive for these batteries to be maintained. And batteries don't store much electricity anyway. We know that for a fact. So, but rolling blackouts, an off-grid, or at least a transfer switch with a battery bank would probably cover you for at least the day or so that you need electricity. Much longer than that, I don't know. Now, if you have a battery bank with solar and you live in a place that's sunny, you're going to be okay, most likely, until the batteries go dead, because that will happen for sure. But you probably got a couple of years of coverage for electricity. What I always say, though, about when it comes to electricity, what do you need electricity for specifically? Do you need it to heat your home? Hopefully not. I have natural gas. I have a wood stove. Should I need it? I'd rather not, because it's a wood burning. I could burn wood in my gasoline, kind of like an aura thing here, but all that stuff, the smoke would come. I got a flu and all that, but it's still not very healthy to burn smoke or wood in a non-contained wood stove. I hope that makes sense. I get a yes. It's not a true wood stove, if that makes sense. So while there's a flu, there's going to be enough smoke that gets in that can cause damage for the long time. But I can heat my home. I got natural gas, so assuming the natural gas stays on, which it probably should, I can use my stove. I can boil stuff. I can cook stuff. I won't have electricity to use my oven, obviously. Won't be able to use my coffee, the Keurig. I won't be able to use the coffee even with the grounds. So I'd have to do a French press, which I have, and I can do that. I won't be able to open up my garage doors with electricity. I have to use a manual thing. It's not really that big of a deal. And I won't have any lights other than what I can do through using my car as a battery and a inverter generator, whatnot. But I mean, what actually do you use electricity for when you actually think about it? I mean, your fridge, 100%, I get that. That's a big deal. But the big thing, and you want to have, and you can run your fridge off your car. That's not really debatable. Now, can you do that for 24 hours? I don't know. Maybe not. But that's why I have inverter generators. Anyway, so there's a lot of things you can do without having your grid working. But over the long time, it's going to be tough. And even those with the battery banks, they're not going to have, or generators, that's going to be tough for a long time. And that's where the thing with the rolling blackouts, having a generator, a battery bank for solar is a good thing, because it can keep the electricity on while the running blackouts go away. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, so check this out. Biden begins $6 billion program to bail out distressed nuclear plants. Well, look at all that smoke. Steam. Smoke. Steam. Just steam coming. That's all there is to it. And what they'll do is, of course, they'll put these nuclear plants and they'll have a big red sun behind you to show, oh my goodness, it was chaos, environmental chaos. All right. So the Biden administration is launching a $6 billion program to rescue nuclear power plants that are at the risk of closing. Opening a certification and bidding process Tuesday for a civil nuclear credit program to aid financially distressed owners or operators of nuclear power plants. The program could provide a boost to operators including PSEG, Constellation Energy, or Energy Harbor, according to Bloomberg. PG&E plans to shut down its two Diablo Canyon reactors in California in 2024 and 2025. I don't know how you stay in California, man. It's not the taxes that should drive you away. It's the insane policies, man. Insane. Did you hear, by the way, California is no longer going to require jabs for children? So that's behind us. But look, just how much pain are you going to go through before cooler heads prevail? And I hate to say it, man, when it comes to electricity, California's doomed. It's doomed, man. It's nuts. The idea they think they can get everything on solar. It's crazy. Now, the nice thing you have going for you in parts of California is that your weather is mild, so you don't need an air conditioner a lot. Obviously, if you're in other places of California, California's a big state, but where a lot of the population is in San Diego, Los Angeles, and stuff, you don't need air conditioning so much. You have the windows you can keep open. You don't need a lot of heat either, so that's good. So you don't need a lot of electricity in that regard. But other parts of the state, you do, man. It gets hot and it gets cold, and if you're relying on solar and wind, it's freaking nuts, man. It ain't gonna happen. And California's got like 50 million people in there or something like that. A dozen U.S. commercial nuclear power reactors have closed in the past decade before their license expired. 12 and a quarter or more of the remaining U.S. nuclear fleet of 93 reactors is at risk, according to the Department of Energy. You got 93 nuclear reactors and about 22 are at risk to close before their license. Nuclear power provides 20% of electricity, of which half of the nation's carbon-free energy. Energy! I'm assuming they're talking total energy, not just electricity. Remember, electricity is a portion of energy. So they're saying nuclear provides about 20% of the U.S. electricity and about half of the entire carbon-free energy, which energy dwarfs electricity. The only nuclear plant now under construction is Southern Company's here in Georgia. And of course, I see advertisements all the time. Basically, they're begging, don't get mad at us because we have a nuclear power plant. We also have solar. We're really trying to get solar. Don't get mad at us. But they know if they want to keep in business and have a steady stream of electricity flowing to and from, they're going to have to get other ways of generation because solar won't work. We know this. All right, so that's thankfully though we have right here. But the project costs have ballooned over the years, and another delay was announced in February. All right, so I want to go to some of the comments because this guy right here, Martyr77, just basically the guy is saying. So this guy says, "How about ending the policies that create the financial stress?" And this guy is saying, well, exactly what are those? Well, we know what they are, man. Jeez. You put too much risk on this nuclear because everyone is worried. Oh my goodness, we're gonna go to China, the China syndrome. I'm gonna share with you a video or a podcast that you should follow. Absolutely. Here's my man Tim Gooch. I feel for the nuke folks. The Navy has racked up 5,700 reactor years without a mishap, while 1.3 million now die worldwide because of automobiles, 100%. Meanwhile, every new nuclear plant is being made into an Apollo moonshot by runaway belt and suspender CYA feel-good greenies, 100%. Advanced small modular reactors that can be mastered and mass-produced will finally end this chaos, but only after everything else. Yep, after everything else. We're going to have to go and say, oh my goodness, we got to do something. And finally, like what's happening here, even Sniffy Joe recognizes there's going to be mass brownouts if we don't get this nuclear stuff up and running. Massive. It's going to be disgusting. Evil. Every new nuclear plant is huge, unique, and complex. The James Webb Space Telescope is a typical example of what happened when that kind of plant comes together. From $1 billion original budget to $10 billion spent and 15 years late, 100%. Rolling blackouts are in our future if we allow the nukes to go offline before small modular reactors can take over. Biden's handlers had finally glimpsed the disaster before it ran down. I mean, it's too late, man. 100%. So anyway, I'm going to share with you something here. Go to Crow 777. This is the Mercury, the message, no nukes at the crosser. What a freaking, this is how I learned about the Hiroshima stuff being fake, essentially. Now, that's not to say the Hiroshima bombings weren't fake. It's probably a Dresden type thing. But in terms of the video you see over Hiroshima, it's not the video over Hiroshima. It's what happened over Nagasaki or of the Bikini Stoll. In fact, I think some guy said that in here too. Right here. Hold on a second. So let's see. I never knew until about. Oh yeah, I never knew until later about the Nevada test site blowing A bombs every 2 weeks near Las Vegas. Wait, huh? They're blowing A bombs every 2 weeks near in Las Vegas, and yet people still live. How could they? They should all be dead. Or folks like John Wayne, who got cancer out of the military as soldiers run into the place right after an explosion, had a shirt from a friend who's at Bikini Atoll for the big one. Haven't got cancer yet, even though I also smoke. So, um, wait, they blowed up nuclear bombs all over Nevada, and yet people didn't die in mass, and we didn't go to China. Crazy. Anyway, so again, Crow 777. Let me share with you this because this is just fantastic. We tie together many things on the old, let's see here, dispel fear and show the creation will not be brought to an end by a button push. Exactly, about the scare tactics of nuclear bombs. Carpet bombing is scary. Nuclear bombs are not 100%. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. I love Crow and his guy Jason. It's basic logic will be applied to show it's technically impossible for that two cities were nuked in 1945. As trees, animals, and human beings have never stopped living in those cities. What's going on in Chernobyl right now? Oh yeah, right. Lots of wildlife and everything. What's going on in Fukushima? Oh yeah, fine. Hiroshima and Nagasaki, no big deal. How many people have actually died from the radiation? Remember in Simpsons, the three-eyed fish from Mr. Burns' nuclear plant. Anyway, so you should follow. The Crow 777 is fantastic, man. This guy, and he's an old Marine who actually was sent to Japan. It is very, very interesting. I enjoy his stuff. Him and Jason just makes me think, how dare he? He challenges my worldview. Oh my goodness, he thinks about things that I've never thought about, or I don't care to think about, or are different from my own position. So, oh my goodness, he must be a nut. I think it's fantastic. $8 a month, and you get episode after episode, just some of the best stuff you've ever heard, man. Full episodes, just this. Health is the most precious form of wealth. He talks about the snake venom stuff. I think that's dumb. But I mean, he can talk about it. I don't care. But um, I don't care about that. But some people do, and he brought it to it. He talked about it. But let's see about Fine Show full episodes. We're gonna go to full episodes. Anyway, this is just superior level of detailed research. Uh, View the highest court, a stage of illusions veiling the highest court. No cure or rights in sight, now pay your bill. Private ideas, public PMAs, forgot what that stands for real quick. James True, talk about James True right here. Just tons of stuff, man. I just such a big fan of this show right here. Anytime they come out, I listen to it. It's fantastic. The end of an era from Morocco to the UK to Texas. Hydrogen, Brown's gas, the real elemental deal. God-given rights as permanent. Yeah. Anyway, theory that's currently driving everything by Dr. William Treebing. Just all kinds of stuff. Anyway, I'm going to put a link in the show notes. Highly suggest you listen to it. If you're interested in alternative opinions and alternative worldviews, you'll get a lot out of it. All right. Either way, rolling blackouts are coming. Definitely generators, definitely inverter generators. Definitely have an inverter for your car battery. And make sure you're filled up with gas too. That way you can run your vehicle, run an inverter, and power your fridge and your ice box. But at the end of the day, it's coming, man. And it's going to be fun. We'll see you.